We have breaking news coming out of the University of Northern Illinois. After wrapping up practice, the team was informed that head coach Thomas Hammock has stepped down. With week one fast approaching, this team is scrambling now to find a head coach and seemingly their upward momentum after an 8-5 season last year, which seen a lot of ups and downs. The ups certainly being notable though as handing Notre Dame a loss last season in one of the biggest upsets in recent memory. That was ultimately their peak of last season, and this team now trying to fill the void. When you are this late in the process, this close to the season approaching, you have to look in odd places, you have to look in weird spots. And for this NIU squad, please welcome their new head football coach, Alejandro Easy, the former undersized, undrafted receiver who carved out a great legacy for himself at Baylor, didn't have a long NFL career and quickly transitioned himself to being a coach where he went to Abilene Christian, coached there for a handful of years as a wide receiver coach, soon an offensive coordinator, and he's got to do the best he can to work with the pieces he has. How about starting quarterback Jalen Macon, who transferred from Arkansas Pine Bluff last season, was on the bench and waited his turn. Him and Josh Holtz are the two quarterbacks, but Macon gets the job here. A more athletic, stronger arm, dual threat type is going to give the offense a little bit more upside, as he hasn't done a whole lot in his career. Even at Arkansas Pine Bluff, didn't play a whole lot, just 1,000 career passing yards and a handful of touchdowns. So it's a big step up from FCS QB to FBS starter. And the running back, this is the best player on this offense. How about Telly Johnson, who coming off a freshman season where he was incredibly impressive, just played in 6 games, but in those 6 games they trusted him. 100 carries, over 400 yards, and 4 touchdowns. So he was doing it very efficiently when he got the football in his hands. And they also have a pretty effective backup, as this is a guy who had a 5.3 yards per carry, Jalen Poe. Not a whole lot of touches last season, but this team graduated a lot of their starters. No quarterback, no running back, and the receiving core is brutal. Last season, their leading wide receiver just under 400 yards, and transferring from Valpo this season is going to be Givens, who is going to be this team's #1 guy. It's a big step up for Gary Givens III. It does show, though, how desperate this team was to find pass catchers, though there is some upside here. Givens, an underclassman, and the other receiver on this team that is definitely interesting, LaDom Bryan, a freshman receiver who has 2 career catches in his redshirt season. He didn't play the 4-game threshold, so he was able to redshirt 2 catches last year, and he'll be seeing a lot more than that this season. Tight end is full of upperclassmen, and the brutal part of this team is the offensive line. Evan Malcor, 20 career starts and a preseason All-American in the MAC. That's the high spot of this offensive line, but everywhere else is absolutely brutal. The interior of the offensive line is about as bad as it gets in the entire country, and even though there's a couple of underclassmen that maybe one day could be at least capable starters, nobody right now is good, and even at right tackle, it's not a whole lot better. It's a one-man show on the offensive line. The defensive line is stuffed full with seniors. Jelani Williams, your starter here, 17 career games under his belt, and a more adequate run stopper than pass rusher, because even though he's got 17 career games under his belt, he's got 1 sack. So this defensive line, it's 7 best defensive linemen. 6 of them are seniors. So we are going to be saying goodbye to a lot of players, not just on the defensive line, but the front 7 as a whole. 2 of this team's 3 starting linebackers, also seniors. And then at cornerback, we do have 1 star player here, Jacob Finley, Conference All-American, started all 13 games last year and broke up 8 passes, an interception, and is actually a really solid run defender on the outside, is able to make tackles pretty adequately for a cornerback. So we are very excited to have him, at least for the time being, as we hope he can stick around. The rest of the cornerback room is pretty awful. We do have 1 player coming over as transferring from Texas Tech on their scout team, has yet to play a game in his career, but Miles Thompson is going to be getting the other job at the outside corner spot, and he was a former 2-star athlete. No snaps under his belt, though, and he'll have to immediately jump from scout team corner to starting corner. At safety, upperclassmen, junior, senior, senior. We have a freshman down here at Powell, but this team is stuffed with a lot of players who are going to be leaving. Not just because they're seniors, but this is a team now that is in a very bad spot because of the fact that their coaching staff is completely reshuffled this late in the process. Now you're looking at recruiting here. This team doesn't have a great recruiting history as well. They have flirted with the top 100, 106th, all the way as high as 87. So they are pretty consistent over the last 6 recruiting classes with what they are landing in, but none of it's been great. So this team has a lot of work to do because on top of the seniors, we need to hit the portal, and it needs to be good. Once upon a time, this team wasn't too bad in the portal. 2019, 2020, 2021, it wasn't awful. But then the last 3 years, 157th, 112th, 122nd. This team has been a non-factor in the portal, and they lose a lot more than they get. Your outlook for this season, it's not a good one if we're being very honest. It's not just because this team lacks a lot of high-end talent. It's not just because they are in a bad spot when it comes to the development of their overall rosters, having way more seniors than they have underclassmen. It is because of the fact that when you hire a head coach this late, this inexperienced, he is a brand new head coach, a young coach jumping all the way up from Abilene Christian to Division I football, even though obviously a group of 5 team, it's still a pretty big jump. And on top of that, you don't get to implement your playbook. You don't get to implement your strategy. You don't get a full offseason and training camp to meet the players and get used to everything. He's walking in, and in a couple of weeks, it's going to be time to play week 1. And week 1 ain't going to be an easy one. So he's got to adapt. This first year, you're going to see him have to basically just lean into what this team knows best, and that is what they were doing the last couple of seasons. And one other quick little thing to note is there is a lot that goes into a coach changing, especially this late into the process, because a lot of incoming recruits, they committed to play for a different coach. They committed to play for Thomas Hammock. They didn't commit to play for Alejandro Easy. And how does that change things? Because this season is going to be a little bit rougher. This is not going to be, spoilers, probably an 8-win season like it was last year. I don't think we're taking Notre Dame to the limit like we did last year. I think it's going to be a lot more rough, and a lot of players are looking at the future outlook of this team and saying, do I want to be here for that? Maybe not, because you didn't commit to Alejandro Easy. You maybe don't fit into his new vision. You maybe don't fit into the new scheme, and maybe you aren't winning 8 games this season. So be prepared to say goodbye to a lot of players this upcoming offseason. And like I said, week 1 wasn't going to be an easy one, as they're taking on Iowa on the road. We'll get into more stuff when it comes to recruiting. After this game, we will jump into a very special recruiting scouting report where we highlight certain prospects. But for now, like I said, pretty quickly, we are on to game 1 of the season and taking on Iowa on the road. It's a less than ideal way to kick off a lot of players' careers, getting their first career starts. I mean, for quarterback Jalen Macon, making his debut as a starting quarterback at NIU on the road, and for a number of other players, especially on the offensive line, making their debuts. It's not a fun matchup for an Iowa team that has had great defenses over the years. Maybe the offenses have slacked a little bit, but this is a team that is still far better than us. But we're kicking off a new era of NIU football, as it's going to be Iowa football first, returning the kick, and inside his own 5, he takes it out and will not get to the 20, so a nice job on the coverage team to the 18-yard line. A lot of places you could look and say, well, NIU is severely outmatched in this facet of the game, in this position, but Coach Easy has sent the message very clear as just stay calm, as the record versus Iowa over the years has not been good. This is the 11th ever matchup between these schools, and Northern Illinois has just won one of them, as this Iowa ground attack is already getting going, as it's running back Kamari Moulton, who is going to get a swing outside, and Moulton is going to get another first down. Iowa wasting no time this season, tossing it out. Moulton Moulton. He's got a lot of room, and Moulton past the 40 and to the 33-yard line. Already in scoring range, 3 carries, 33 yards, and how about finally the defense coming up with a stop here at the line. Hand off to Moulton once more, and getting in the backfield is Finley. And like I said, he's a great run-stopping corner, and now they're going to test him in pass coverage. Finley knocks it away, and 4th down for Iowa, and the field goal unit is coming out. And even though Iowa's run game started hot, Jacob Finley, the best player on this team, came up big in 2 straight plays. 3-0 for Iowa, and the terrifying reality hits us as Aaron Graves steps onto the field for Iowa, and this matchup is going to be a bad one for us. Graves coming off a 6-sack season last year, whereas our guard lining up ahead of him, it's his first career start. And how about a heck of a way to make your debut as Graves gets in, and the pressure is allowing us to get the ball out quickly, at least a 7-yard gain. Now a handoff, Johnson, 3rd down and 1, and Iowa's defense comes up with the stop. And even though it was 4th and 1, you're backed up, first drive of the season. You don't want to make a big mistake, and you were going to punt the football away. So Iowa incomplete on 1st down. How about 2nd down and 10? Moulton with the carry, and nice job to get on the edge and stop him for a loss of 1. Finally got to drop back and throw as Gronkowski, the quarterback, is going to have that pass doinking off a couple of players, and Macon in the offense for NIU takes over, and he's going to find a man. That's going to be Givens, and his first grab on this team goes for a 1st down. Now Macon, 2nd down and 10, outside. Great defense, pass a little bit behind his receiver, Bryan. Now 3rd and 10 as Macon delivers over the middle, and this time Ladon Bryant's got it. And in enemy territory, they hand it off. Telly Johnson has a nice lane for 7 yards into the 34. Macon to throw it. Graves gets in, but they find a receiver. It's Ladon Bryant again, his 3rd target of the drive, and it's another 1st down as Johnson is going to find his way through for 3 yards. A minute to go in the 1st quarter as Macon is going to try to step up, and that's going to be Aaron Graves with the sack, and that'll force 4th down. Field goal try is wide left, and the crowd is rocking here in Iowa, and a sweep outside. They got multiple good running backs and a juke move to the edge, and a 1st down, and that was Brevin Dahl as we wrap up the 1st quarter. It's 44 passing yards for NIU, 47 rushing yards for Iowa. Now here's the passing game for Iowa. Thompson gets big. Gill catch and run, and a big gain. In the red zone goes Iowa. Option, and that's setting your running back up for failure. How about a loss of 5? Gronkowski now sweeps it out. Dahl, defense swarming, and a tackle for a loss. It's 3rd down and 18, and threatening to hold him to another field goal. Gronkowski checks it down, and it will be 4th down. Field goal try. It is 2 for 2 for Iowa. 6-0 lead, and NIU takes back over, making play action. He's going to load up and throw one. Dave, and 2 men in the area. It's over everybody's head. Incomplete. Now we jump to 3rd down, where Macon is just going to check it down. Pressure got in if he at least felt the rush, and it's going to be a quick 3 and out. Gronkowski now on the carry. Williams got knocked on his butt and still was able to at least disrupt the run a little bit. Now tight end's got a completion to him for the 1st down, as Iowa producing great tight ends year after year. Now Moulton, welcome back to the game. 10 carries for him in this 1st half, and he's running it well. Now how about Dahl? The other running back gets back in there, and his biggest run of the day is going to get him to the 21-yard line, gain of 24. Sweeping it to Dahl, and he cuts it back inside. Finley gets there, and a gain of 3. 3rd down and 7. They tried to run it again, and that's not going to work. And how about the defense at the very least forcing field goal tries? And now is it bad Iowa offense or good NIU defense in these situations? You be the judge of that one, as Telly Johnson making a man miss in the open field, and Johnson has a gain of 8 to start the drive. 3rd down and 1. Johnson with the direct snap to him, and he'll get the 1st down with the 2-minute warning in this 1st half, as NIU looking for some points, as Macon will throw over the middle, and there's Givens for the 1st down. Givens and Bryant got a couple of catches each, as Macon is going to step up. He's going to run it. He's got some athleticism, and he gets 7 yards. A minute to play at midfield. Macon underneath for the tight end. Applegate's going to get the 1st down, and a gain of 9. 51 seconds to play. Macon is going to run right into Graves. Pressure in, his 2nd sack of the game. And 3rd down and 14 hits. And the pass is going to be aggressive, but it's not going to be caught. They punt the football away, and NIU is going to watch Iowa run the clock out to halftime. It is a 9-0 game. very well could be 9-3 if we made that field goal. And overall, I can't be too mad at the way this team has come out and played. I didn't expect a lot from this young offense, and I expected at least some sense of stability from this experienced defense as NIU starts the football off in this second half with a handoff. It's Telly Johnson, and Johnson with a nice carry to the 45-yard line, man in motion. We got two running backs we trust as well as Jalen Poe to the edge. 1-on-1, he stiff arms the safety, putting him in the dirt. Look at Graves chasing him down. This dude is an animal. Play action, though, as Macon is rolling right. Graves chasing, and Macon just floats over to the tight end, Morrow, and it's going to get him 5 yards, so a nice job there to find something. Now a tight end screen set up. Applegate is going to get the first down, and they weren't expecting that one from the 22-yard line. This offense putting together its best drive so far. Macon is going to throw. End zone! Touchdown! And the Huskies put it in the end zone, and we are going to be an extra point away from a 2-point game. That's the exact way you want to start a second half. Get the momentum on your side, and now it's going to be up to Iowa's offense and the crowd to try to get the momentum back on their side as Moulton is going to cut back, get the first down, and right back up the middle. He is so shifty, and Moulton has 60 yards on the ground. And how about adding more to it? Moulton, 20-plus yards on the carry, and the run game is starting to heat back up. Gronkowski underneath and gets it to the tight end. First down, and that's going to be Finley on the tackle from the 26. It's going to be a little end around, flipping it the other way, and getting a first down. And Iowa now is looking like they're putting together their best drive of the game from the 13. Moulton is spinning through, touchdown, Iowa, and right back at them. Iowa puts points on the board, 16-7 is your score, and Telly Johnson. And this NIU run game's got to try to see if they can match what Iowa's done so far. Free rusher gets in, a nice job under pressure to get that pass off. Pressure has been in so much. Macon is a little banged up. He took a hit there. He's taken a lot of hits. Holst will step in for the moment, and he'll move right into a sack. And another one for this Iowa defense. Macon is going to be okay. He'll step back in, but he's taken a lot of hits so far this game. And he takes another one there. Pass might have been a little high, but it's still caught for a gain of 6. Third down and 11. And a free rush, basically. He won instantly. Eric Graves with his third sack, and Iowa takes over. And that pass swatted at the line. Quickly, it's third down and 9, so we could force a 3-and-out. Pressure got in, and we do force a 3-and-out, so no harm done, at least for now. Fourth quarter underway. Holst back in after another Macon shot. Banged him up. He's going to be back in, but it's 3rd and 10 when he steps back onto the field. Macon already banged up twice this game as he'll step in underneath. That's going to be caught. LaDon Bryan right at the marker. He's got the first down, and it keeps things moving. Screen outside. Want to get some easy stuff for Macon so he doesn't have to take as many hits. But 3rd down and 8, you need to do something here. Macon is going down. Sack number 5, and we got a pun. As now Moulton, this is where Iowa likes to play. Play defense, control the clock, carry that football, and it's going to be over 100 yards for the running back Moulton. Gronkowski's barely had to throw the football, and it's been working for this team as they toss it outside, and a 2nd down and 1 turns to a 1st down at the 39-yard line. Gronkowski to the air. He'll find a man right down the middle, and that's going to be into the red zone from the 13. Moulton tackled in the backfield. And this defense, can we force another field goal to keep it a 2-score game? Screen outside is going to be caught, and he's not quite going to get to the marker. He'll be 6 yards short, but 3rd down and manageable. Gronkowski, extra man sent in, pass back corner of the end zone. It's caught but out of bounds. Finley was there in coverage, and a field goal try is going to be good. It's 19-7, so still not out of the realms of possibilities here with 5 minutes to play. Down by 2 touchdowns. Sweep it out, and there goes a tackle for a loss of 5. Telly Johnson couldn't do anything. Off his back foot, Graves got in immediately. It's 4th and 15. Going for it. I mean, what else are you going to do? As Graves gets it again! Sack number 4 for Graves, and he is dominating, and it sets up Moulton for an easy touchdown, and Iowa is just overpowering this NIU offensive line. Not much you can really do about it. 3rd down and 2 as Telly Johnson gets banged up. They've been taking shots all day, as now 4th down and 1. Poe, he gets the carry. He'll barely get the first down, so with under 2.5 to go after this play, it will be a screen out. Poe is not going to go far. It's going to be another 4th down situation. 4th down and 8, go for it. Why not? What do you got to lose? Make it hit again. And that will basically be your game. Iowa was able to tack on another field goal, but then we just ran the clock out to end this one. 29-7 is your final. And it's about what you'd expect from this game, though I can say, I mean, at one point in the 3rd quarter, it was a 2-point game, and I can't be mad at that, but this Iowa defense really came to play early on this season, and it was the pass rush. I mean, Gronkowski threw the ball 19 times. It was efficient, it was solid, but he didn't need to do all that much. Meanwhile, Macon took a lot of hits, got hit as he was throwing a lot, and nothing downfield was ever open. Telly Johnson had an okay game, and Jalen Poe was pretty solid too. We just couldn't run the football all that much, especially at the end of the game. And Iowa's run game, Kamari Moulton, was awesome. 110 yards, 2 touchdowns. And this is exactly what Iowa football is. Defense, control the clock, and grind out that football and just control the game. And they controlled the game against a very inferior team. Though I can say the receivers were okay, at least in the short area. They just couldn't really get open downfield because we don't have much in terms of separation. The defense had their moments. I thought they were okay. I mean, I was very impressed with them constantly holding for field goals, and I thought Finley was pretty nice. Aaron Graves, though, was unblockable. That's what you expect. I mean, he's one of the best defensive tackles in the nation, and if you just go and rewatch the game and just watch Aaron Graves, it is insta-shed every play against a guard who is making his first career start. It's what you expect, and it's unfortunate, but that's the reality of this team. So we go to recruiting. So what is going to happen right now? I will show you, what we are allocating the points into, who we're scouting, what things are looking like. Every single episode, you will get multiple in-depth scouting prospect highlights because there are many stories to tell in the world of college football, in the world of high school football, in the sport of football in general. There's so many stories to be told, so many characters, so much to see. And it is not just for players that pertain to us. You'll get to see some of the biggest and best players in the entire nation, and you'll get to see some of the best players on our board, and you'll get to see some of the best players that exist in our local area, in our states, that pertain to potential pipelines down the line. So I think for the first story, we will be covering one of the biggest, if not the biggest story in all of high school football recruiting this season. Welcome to the first iteration of the college football prospect highlight, and I can't think of a better way to start this one off than with one of the most fascinating stories in college football recruiting in a very long time, as twin brothers, 5-star quarterbacks, TJ and JJ Comella from Wisconsin, are the number 1 and number 5 QBs in the entire nation. And this is a story of two guys that have been battling basically since birth. Let's start with TJ. TJ is the number 1 overall quarterback in the nation. He is the slightly older brother by a handful of minutes. This is a quarterback who is absolutely lethal in structure. You get him in the structure of an offense, everything is rolling. He is able to make the right decisions at the right time, and the guy attacks the middle of the field like no one else, no one you will ever see in the world of high school football coming out. He is borderline generational in that regard when throwing in between the hash marks. It's an area of the field that sometimes quarterbacks struggle with, young quarterback. TJ, being 6'2", is still able to attack the middle of the field at a very high level, and on top of that, like I said, going back to being a pure winner in his entire life, he has never lost a high school game. And if you're wondering how the heck does 2 5-star twin brother quarterbacks operate, luckily they had some good parents along the way that helped them out in this, because when you're brothers playing on high school, majority of the time you could play on the same team. If you're 2 wide receivers, even, you could play both together, 2 running backs, 2 linemen, 2 secondary members. You could always play together, but you can't play 2 quarterbacks. So TJ got to stick around in his high school, didn't have to relocate, but JJ had to relocate to a different high school so he could be a starting quarterback elsewhere. That meant we got TJ versus JJ in high school a couple of times, but TJ won every single time, a perfect 3-0 against his brother. Now, if you want some knocks on him, I guess it's just he's an okay, just fine as a creator. You're not going to call him a running threat, nor does he particularly want to run. And I guess maybe no adversity, because even though he has a twin brother right there by his side the entire time, who's also a talented quarterback, he's never lost to him. He's never been outdone. He's never been out overshadowed. He's never been number 2. TJ is a very special quarterback prospect, a very fitting and deserving number 1 QB prospect, and just like he has been in his entire life, TJ Komella is number 1. But what about his brother JJ, who is very different as a player, because JJ has been molded by the experiences of his life being brothers with a guy like TJ. A couple pounds lighter, an inch shorter, and as a player, he is basically tried to become everything that TJ isn't. It comes from a place of just having a chip on his shoulder throughout his entire life, because with TJ being the number 1, every time they wanted to play Little League, it was, hey, TJ's the quarterback, JJ go play something else. Every time they wanted to go and do something, play street ball with their friends, hey, TJ's the quarterback, JJ, you go play something else. And because of that, he has had the ability to play other positions throughout his life, and he was never just a straight quarterback, even though that's always what he wanted to be. So because of that, he's a little bit better of a mover, he's a little bit better of an athlete, he has a lot more experience and in creating more outside of the pocket, because while TJ works within the structure very well, JJ is the type of guy who will be accurate on the move. He runs, he has a constant chip on his shoulder, he's a pure playmaker, he just has that special sixth sense of improvisation where he could feel the rush coming and he'll spin out of it. But because of that, it also leads to him pressing a little bit. He is a very reckless player at times, where definitely in these situations, especially in games against his brother, he tried to force it a little too much and tried too hard to be better. He tried to be better more than just trying to win the game. And, to some, winning the game is being better. But to him, he just wanted to outdo his brother. And even though in the performances against his brother, he maybe had more yards, more this, more that, more rushing, maybe a couple more touchdowns, but TJ made the winning plays. He did the right thing. He did everything you need to win the big games, whereas JJ, tried to be a little more risky, threw a couple more interceptions, made some boneheaded plays at times, but it just comes from the fact that he has just so badly wanted for once in his life to be better than his brother, and it just hasn't happened yet. Now, I left out the interested teams and the recruiting because this is a situation that once again is really interesting, because growing up in Wisconsin, being big Wisconsin Badger fans, both of them have basically dreamed that, hey, I want to go and be the quarterback at Wisconsin. That just comes from a life of fandom, being Wisconsin Badgers fans, eventually also in the NFL being Green Bay Packer fans, and they want to go and play at Wisconsin. But there's only one QB spot at the University of Wisconsin, and if you're going based off what we project things to be, obviously we anticipate TJ to go to Wisconsin and Wisconsin to choose him, which leaves JJ. I mean, a whole bunch of teams are going to be lining up at the door to get a guy like him, because he still is a 5-star quarterback. He still is really talented, even if it's not ultimately where JJ wants to go. Maybe Wisconsin shocks us. Maybe Wisconsin chooses JJ, but basically teams who are looking at quarterbacks are kind of waiting for that decision to fall, that domino to fall. So whichever quarterback Wisconsin chooses, the other one's going to have a long process to try to find the school that's going to be best for them. But these are two brothers that have been battling since day one, since minute one of their lives. TJ was born first, got to start first, got picked first, is number one, and JJ has been chasing him his whole life. But we'll see how their careers unfold at the college level. Which one is going to Wisconsin? and where will the one that doesn't get chosen go, and how will their careers develop throughout the course of their college football lives, and will we get to see a little matchup between these brothers throughout their time in college, just like we've seen it at high school. We'll see how the careers of the Comellas turn out, but for now we gotta focus on ourselves, and after a week 1 beatdown against Iowa, we're taking on another tough opponent in another hostile environment. Maybe not as hostile, maybe not as strong of an opponent, but Maryland's still a pretty nice team, and they are the heavy favorites in this one, as we are once again on the road, once again in enemy territory, and once again in way over our head against a premier team in a power conference. So we're taking on Maryland, and a very tough matchup for this defense is Dorian Fleming. This is going to be the player we key in on today. Fleming, a sophomore, transferred in from Georgia State, had over 500 yards and 6 touchdowns last year. His primary matchup will be against the guy who's been a career backup at NIU, finally getting a chance to be the full-time starter, as it's going to be Malik Washington, the freshman quarterback, back-to-back to Octavian Smith, and he breaks 2 tackles, and Smith already got 2 catches on the day, and they're both big ones, and Malik Washington with the option. This freshman quarterback getting the start here. He is a dynamic dual threat, and he is running to the outside. Another one is going to get a first down. 2 carries back-to-back for Washington. And this Maryland offense is a whole lot more explosive than the Iowa one we just faced, as they are inside the 5-yard line. 2nd down and 3. Washington underneath. Caught Octavian Smith for the touchdown. And Maryland very quickly goes up 7-0. And yeah, this is going to be a test for this defense, as this team is fast, they are explosive, they are dynamic, and Jalen Macon took a pounding last week, and we'll see how much better things fare for him this week, not having to face off against Aaron Graves. This is the 3rd ever matchup between these two schools, a 1-1 record. The 3-yard screen sets up 2nd down and 7. Blitz picked up by Telly Johnson, and Morrow, the tight end, number 2 tight end, gets the first down, as now handoff. Telly Johnson tries to cut it back, and the linebacker fills that gap. 3rd down and 6. Macon, he's going to have a pass underneath. Brian, short. 4th down and 1 last week on the opening drive. They punted. 4th down and 1 this week. And Alejandro Easy sending the offense out there. Telly Johnson reaches for the first down, and they got it. So a big-time call works out as Macon finds Brian over the middle for a gain of 9. Now a handoff right up the middle. Johnson is going to get the first down again. Another 1-yard conversion here. Johnson a little tired, but they'll go play action as Macon rolls out right. He's got a lot of room in front of him, and past the 40 for the first down. It's going to be Macon scrambling. How about now a little jet sweep? And Bryant can't go anywhere. Loses 2 yards. 2nd down and 12 for Macon. As he steps up, he's going to run it again. Gets a lot more room to run this week. This Iowa defense that they faced last week was not allowing Macon to do anything. This week against Maryland, there is some room, but a fumble here off a sack is going to be recovered, but we lose 11 yards. And now Macon rolling left. 2nd and 21. He'll flow one deep. Double coverage. Incomplete. Had a check down open. Wanted to throw it deep, but we need to get into field goal range. Just Macon hit as he's thrown. And it is going to be 4th down. You punt it away. Make it with a less than ideal set of plays. There is Washington running around, throwing it deep. He's got a man. And Caleb Weld for the first down. And look at this freshman taking a shot deep. Knocked away. But this freshman quarterback's got some skills as he's going to sweep it out. And there's a running back, Nolan Ray, for the first down. As this Maryland offense may have somebody special at quarterback if they're able to keep him around for years to come, as Washington will step up and run it, and Washington slides for a gain of 7. And Washington now to throw. 2nd down and 3. No, he's going to run it again. Why don't you start spying the kid? But you spy him, you take a man off of Fleming. Now the blitz sent in, and it's a sack. And now backed up to 3rd and 16. Maybe we can try to pressure this young quarterback. And a nice job there to force the incompletion. So forcing the field goal, it will be 10-0. We need to see this offense get some points on the board. Man, we need it badly if we're going to have a chance, as Telly Johnson loses 3. This offensive line's not going to give Telly much to work with, as Macon will get sacked. And Man, 3 and out, as it's just, what do you do when you have this bad of an offensive line? Meanwhile, the great field position for Nolan Ray and the Maryland offense is going to be improved upon from the 29. Caught and a first down. He reaches forward and he's got it. Back in the red zone they go. And it's Ray and the blocking for Maryland. I am jealous of it. First down and goal turns a second and goal. Quick throw outside and the screen gets nothing. Third and goal from the 4 in this fast-moving half, as it's going to be Ray stopped in the backfield. And that will be a field goal try once again. So this defense, I can say at the very least so far, through the first 6 quarters of the season, they don't break as much as you might think. They bend, but they haven't broken all that often, as Macon with a nice scramble there, as with under 2.5 to play, Macon rolls out, stops, throws it right over the middle, and that's a great throw and a catch by Givens for the first down. 2-minute warning in enemy territory, as Poe is going to get the carry this time around. He'll get 4 yards, and we're taking our time. We have plenty of time, and we're in a good spot in the field, but Macon hit as he's throwing again. 3rd down and 6 as Macon is going to look. He's going to have time and fire one over the middle. Incomplete. It was a tight window throw. 4th down and 6. This offense, they're going to go for it again, but the blitz set in. No one blocked him, and it's going to be incomplete. Maryland takes over with 1:20 to go, but this time it's our defense getting a sack. Washington loses 1, and 2nd down and 11 with about 60 seconds to play. A lot of time, but no one got open. That's a coverage sack. 3rd down and 18. Washington is going to throw it short, but basically concede possession. We burn a timeout, and with about 50 seconds to play, we'll get the football back as Macon will drop to throw underneath. That's going to be caught. First down, and hurrying back to the line. 28 seconds to go now. 3rd and 4. Caught again, and that's going to be a fumble. That looked a little late, but the defense recovers. And I don't know, they're not going to review it, so it's going to stand under 2 minutes. You can't challenge it. The booth lets it stand, and Maryland has 18 seconds to go, so just don't allow anything crazy to happen. Fleming for the first down, 14 seconds to play. You're in long-distance field goal range, but Washington, it wants more than that. It's caught out of bounds. He goes, and this Malik Washington kid's going to tuck and run it, and a touchdown with 4 seconds to play, and that fumble's going to cost us 7. Washington touchdown, and he has been nothing short of spectacular for Maryland as they go into half with a 20-0 lead. 8 yards per play, 13 first downs, and over 250 yards of offense. Not much we can really do about it. As sad as it is to say, I expected a lot of this struggle from our offense, but that's another nice tight window throw to Givens. It's going to be caught, but I mean, a lot of new players coming in, a bad offensive line, and a new head coach that isn't able to implement his playbook. It's going to be a struggle, and Macon running around, nowhere to go. That one's on Macon more than the offensive line. He kind of ran into that one, but Maryland sweeps it to the edge. Nolan Ray stiff arm, and he's going to spin, but step out of bounds. Gain of 8, as that will back him up to 3rd down and 3. And Malik Washington gets sacked, and NIU 4 sacks on the day. That's at least something to hang our hat on, as Telly Johnson finally slips through and finds some room to the 35-yard line. 3rd down and 10, though, quickly approaches Macon to the outside. Caught Givens, 4th down and 3. We are going to go for, we send the offense out, but Maryland burns a timeout. Maybe they didn't like the look or anything. 4th down and 3, we send the offense back out there again, and with the clock winding down, it's going to be a full start. And this offensive line can't help us out at all. So now, backed up to 4th and 8, you got to punt the football. 4th and 3, you maybe had a play call there. 4th and 8, you got nothing. Washington, he's a little run happy, and he's running himself into pressure. 3rd down and 14. Washington gets rid of it, avoids the sack this time, but we get the 3 and out. But this offense needs to do something. We're halfway through this 3rd quarter, and Givens with the first down grab to the 47-yard line. We're in a good spot right now. Play action Macon. He's going to look for Bryan. Eladon Bryan with a first down grab, and a big one. His 5th catch of the day, and it hasn't been a lot of big yards for him, but he got a big one there. Johnson's 6-yard carry will set up 2nd and 4 from the 13, and a little in and out, and it's Givens to the end zone. Touchdown! And Macon to Givens. I think Givens has had a really nice day, and he gets his first touchdown on the year, and his first touchdown as a member of this school. But now it's up to this defense to see if they can keep pressuring Washington, as somebody in our linebacking core, I think, just got depleted, and it's going to be a first first down carry for Maryland. Washington with a clean pocket. And when you give this guy time, he's going to eventually find a way to run for a nice gain of 8. 2nd down and 2. Washington design caper, and it's going to get stopped at the line of scrimmage. 3rd down and 2. 3rd quarter winding down. Handoff, and man at the line, Jacob Finley. What a stop in the ground game. Finley is so good. How about Poe on the carry to start this drive? It's a fumble again. Come on. And Jalen Poe puts it on the ground. Again, it's going to remain a fumble on the field. And to start the 4th quarter, Maryland has a wide open Fleming. He gets in for the touchdown, and maybe NIU had some momentum on their side, but they fumbled it away, and 2 fumbles have costed them 2 touchdowns allowed, as Macon, down by 20 once again, has got to do something here. And with just over 9 minutes to play, he's going to get an 8-yard gain. Macon now over the middle is going to get LaDon Bryant with another grab. He's got 6 on the day. Macon to throw. And again, open over the middle. And there's a big play for the tight end. Very likely that the rest of the way it's just going to be throws, as now from the 37-yard line, 8 minutes to play. Macon will load up, and he'll toss one deep in double coverage. It's tipped and into the hands of Gibbons. Touchdown! And the Huskies going to claw themselves back within 2 scores, as Gibbons has had a phenomenal day, and he's got an incredible touchdown grab here. That ball was thrown into double coverage. A bad decision, but bad decisions, sometimes you get a little lucky. And NIU is now back within 13 as the defense, can you get a stop for us? Finley goes down, and it's going to be 3rd down and 3 after the run. Washington, can you get off the field? 3 and out. They get it to Fleming, but it's short. 4th and 1, they punt it, and with 6 minutes to play, Poe with the carry. Don't fumble it this time, he gets 7. 2nd down and 3. They hand it off. Johnson is going to get the first down. They feel a little bit more comfortable running the football, but it's going to be mostly passes, as Macon has a wide open man for the first down, and now past midfield for the 44. Macon's had a pretty clean day so far, as he's going to step up and throw a high pass. Still, though, it's going to be caught, and with just over 4 minutes to play from the 34, Macon, free blitzer and picked up, and it's a sack. And now 2nd down and 18, and behind the sticks, Macon. I think I've noticed this little issue already from him. It seems like when he is well behind the sticks, he tries to overcompensate to make up for it, because he's throwing it deep again. I don't think he can just keep throwing it deep. You got lucky one time, but now 4th and 18. Macon to throw for Bryan. Diving grab! What a catch from Bryan! And the game's still alive for Macon. Throws it underneath. Gibbons makes a man miss, and Gibbons, he's got the first down. Keep it moving from the 11. Play action. Macon is going to look. Open man. Morrow touchdown. And we are down by 1 score. And from 20-0 to 27-21, barring the extra point, he gets around the edge, takes out our kicker, almost blocked it, and Malcor's hurt. A chaotic extra point leads it to a 6-point game. And now you starting to feel it a little bit. Kickoff back deep, fielded at about the 1-yard line. He's going to start middle, go back left, and the kicker, he's not that fast, and he's not going to be fast enough to catch him. Nobody is. Maryland, just like that, response. Touchdown. And just when you thought, just when NIU pulled themselves from the depths of despair, 20-0 all the way to 27-21, another big back-breaking mistake and 2 fumbles that have resulted in a touchdown, in a special teams touchdown. You can actually say that this was a winnable game right now, as Macon banged up. Holst into the game, as Holst is just going to float one, double coverage, and look at Bryan! Some of these catches have been ridiculous. Bryan with his 10th of the game, and the freshman having a great day. Macon back into the game. He's going to watch his interior get bulldozed right into him. 3rd and 15, Macon. I don't know if you got anything crazy left in you. It's incomplete. 4th down and 15. Your last lifeline. Macon is going to load up and float one deep for the end zone. Gibbons, it's over his head, and that will do it. NIU put a little bit of fear into Maryland. It just wasn't enough in the end. Malik Washington had a stellar first half, but we really contained him a lot more in the second half. I thought we played a lot better. We pressured him, and this team did come back. It's just, I think we got the bad end of some maybe questionable fumble calls. I thought both those fumble calls were debatable. the fact that both of them didn't go our way, unfortunate. And then when we were finally in within one score, kick return touchdown just basically was the dagger, making 40 pass attempts, 3 touchdowns, no picks. I am shocked that with the amount of times he was just flinging that football left and right, he didn't throw an interception. But good on him, I guess. Washington had a touchdown on the ground. Nolan Ray was pretty good for Maryland. Fleming, 48 yards at a touchdown. I'm okay with that considering of how great of a player he is. So I thought we did a good job in that matchup. Bryant, though, 10 grabs for 108. Givens, 108 as well. 2 touchdowns for him. Both those receivers came up huge, and I think we're definitely the stars of the show today for this offense. And a star of the show on defense was Quinn Erweiler. I highlighted him at the start saying he needed to have a big game if we were going to have a chance. Well, how about 14 tackles, a sack and a half, and a really great performance from him? So I thought we won that matchup. He even wins MAC Defensive Player of the Week. Unfortunately, though, even though a lot of things really went our way, a couple of things didn't, and ultimately that was what was our undoing. We sit here at 0-2. Heading back over to recruiting, Stephen Winey is a player that we have found here, and I absolutely love this skill set. How about some strength and some speed off the edge? Quickly becomes one of our top targets, but now I think it's time to introduce to you guys who our number 1 target on our board is this year. If you were to ask me the most intriguing story of this year's recruiting class, at least one that pertains to us a little bit, that would be a wide receiver, Jalen Leanne, as he is a home state kid, what was once going to be the number 1 player in this state, someone who just a few weeks ago was listed as a 5-star talent, no longer has that label to him. You know, that is just because of the fact that he dropped off his final year in high school, his senior season. Now, it wasn't without reason. Jalen and his little sister Jasmine have had a less than ideal upbringing throughout the course of their lives, and ultimately that is their story to tell. But the quick notes version of that is their parents have been out of the picture for a long time, and they have been basically at each other's sides throughout the entirety of their lives. Jalen a year older than his younger sister, and he's basically taking care of her every step of the way. Jalen has worked jobs throughout the years since he was a freshman in high school. As soon as he could get a job, he got a job, has been paying for their expenses, saved up to buy a car. They have been crashing at coaches and friends' houses, living out of their car when they have to. It's been a really rough upbringing, but Jalen has held this thing together. I don't bring up his family life just for no reason. That goes into why he is not playing his senior season in high school. He lent the car out to his little sister to help her practice her driving, and so she can eventually get her license and everything. And unfortunately, she did get into an accident with the car. Now she is very much alive, but broken leg, concussion, a lot of bumps, a lot of bruises, messed up the car, which is basically their home. So it's a difficult decision you have to make, but whenever the decision came to his sister or his future, his sister or football, he has always chosen his sister. He dropped off the high school football team to take care of his sister, help her recover, and not only that, work off the bills that have been racking up, because you go and you have all those medical issues, medical bills rack up. They don't got money to pay for that. He's got to go and try to pay that off. He has taken up more work to try to pay off the accident that occurred, and his sister obviously feels really bad about that. Both of these two are very much into sports. Jalen has, you've heard the story so often before of, a tough upbringing. You go play sports to escape from that reality. Jalen playing football, wide receiver at his high school team, and Jasmine, a high school basketball player, and she now has to obviously stay sidelined because she is no longer able to play basketball, at least for this season. While he'll still be able to go to college, obviously, he's not dropping out of school entirely. He's just dropping off the football team, using those hours to work off some of the debt that he has accumulated. Him and Jasmine, I guess, have accumulated together. But it's an unfortunate story, because if these are just two people that got a little bit of support throughout their lives, they wouldn't be in this situation. And because of that, well, you don't play your final year of high school. What is there to go off of? Your junior year, obviously, but you get a projection a little bit when it comes to your ranking. You presume that they're going to be a 5-star talent, but obviously things change, things happen. Guys go up the boards, guys go down the board. But if you just straight up don't play, So what have you done for me lately? And what Jalen has been doing for them lately, by the time the next college football season rolls around and recruits got to come in, is nothing. Yeah, he's not hurt, but he is also not playing, not getting better in these crucial development years. And on top of that, after the accident occurred and he has chosen his sister over football, basically, he let it be clear, let it be known that he's not going to go and stray too far away from home, because next year he will be obviously heading to college, wherever that may be, and his sister will still be in her final year of high school. He wants to be there to take care of her because she has nowhere else to go. So schools like Ohio State, why go and, grab a guy like Jalen Leanne, who is really talented, but has some potential commitment issues? And regardless if you think that's fair or not, you know how cutthroat at times some coaches can be. You want them to be in the building, you want them to be a part of the team, and Jalen Leanne's a guy who says, you know what, I might not be here 100% of the time every single practice because I need to go take care of my sister. I need to go make sure that she's doing okay. I need to make sure that everything is going good in her life as well, because to him, she is just as important. I think that's an admirable thing, but also, are you going to get 100% of this player? He has a very limited amount of schools that he can go to. Now, luckily for us, I guess, we are one of those schools. We are about as close as it gets. He's only a couple hours away from campus, but we're far from ideal when it comes to the level of school that we are, even if he is 75%, 80% of the five-star prospect that we want him to be for his freshman season. 75% of Jalen Leanne might still be better than just about any other receiver that we can get in this recruiting class. When it comes to him as a player, there's not a whole lot to say, in the sense that he's really good, very well-rounded, very polished profile for what we've seen in his junior season and his sophomore season. Obviously, we won't have a lot to really report on elsewhere as a player because he's not playing his senior season. Jalen Leanne's definitely a player that I have my eyes on, and is a player that I think is very easy to root for. And even though a year ago you maybe thought, or even just a couple of weeks ago you thought, he's going to one of these premier schools in the nation to be a five-star wide receiver, and that doesn't look like it's a reality anymore, I think we can all still root for him to be a success and for his sister to go and recover from everything that she has gone through. But Jalen Leanne's definitely a player I am rooting for, and I think I know where I want him to land, but ultimately he's going to make the decision that is best for him, his family, his situation. So we're going to be keeping eyes on Jalen throughout the entire season and see where he lands. We'll keep an eye on where Jalen, TJ, JJ all end up. We have more stories to tell throughout the course of this college football season and seasons beyond that. And I hope you guys all are excited for the journey that is going to be this NIU Husky team. And already you can see what the offensive line has done to poor Jalen Macon. He is beat up, he is banged up, but his offensive line has allowed him to take way more hits than he probably should have already. So that will put a wrap on things for episode 1, and expect a lot more. And I really want you guys to show as much support as you can for this because of the amount of time that this all takes. I mean, I know the game just came out, but there was a lot of prep that went into this before the game, in the weeks before this game coming out, all the graphics, all the stories that I had to write and everything. There was a lot I have planned for this series, and any and all support is much appreciated. Like, comment, and subscribe, as I really hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you all think. Any comment, any feedback, anything is very much appreciated. I have a lot of goals for the game this year, and my goal for first of all was to try to make the best, the deepest, the most immersive, the best Dynasty experience and the best Dynasty series I could possibly make on YouTube, and that is ultimately the goal, and I hope this episode 1 has helped accomplish that a little bit. So I will see you guys all in the next one.